So just to kind of finish up, we wanted to wrap up with some questions. So I don't know if everyone's been using the chat facility, but if you have got any questions, then please use that chat facility now. I can't see any in there at the moment, but if you'd like to use the chat facility or questions, we do have some questions. So let's have a look. So there was a few at the beginning.
I recognise Peter.
Yeah. So, someone's sharing our...
Hello, Peter.
Yeah, hello, Peter. And Peter's sharing his Twitter feed there. But using the questions or chat facility, please type in any questions you want. We've got a few minutes at the end now just to kind of wrap up. While we're waiting for questions to come in or not, what would you want to add? Anything that we haven't covered or any tips for people to really take away from today? I mean, lists is probably the important one I got out of today.
I think list is the key. A good, as I say, setting up your account properly with a photo, a bio, a link to wherever you would like people to go, your webpage or your LinkedIn profile. And then making sure you've got a phone device or a tablet device where you've put the app, the Twitter app, because it is about being in the time, looking at it once in a while. You won't build any steam, any momentum. When someone connects with you, follows you, if it takes hours or days to notice it, you lose the momentum. You won't really engage with people. So having it handy is the key. Having it handy.
Okay. All right. So question from Rachel. What if the Twitter account is for a company? Is it best to use a company logo for your profile picture?
That's true, yes. So if it is an organisation level and the engagement won't be at a person-to-person level, it will be person to organisation generally, sometimes organisation to organisation. The company's logo is more appropriate because it no longer represents a single user, and you may in fact allocate different users to that account. So you could use initials of the people. So if you have multiple people who are sharing on Twitter for one organisation, they can use initials at the end of a tweet, for instance, I've seen, so that people start to at least learn who they're really engaging with behind the Twitter handle. Otherwise, it's very impersonal. It's not essential, but, if you're trying to build a relationship with other people and it's just a organisation faceless type of, it's more like a broadcast mechanism again. People will not normally engage with that organisation that has not even initials of the person they're engaging
so
with.
it's the credibility part of it. Another question from Brent around hashtags, actually, which we touched on a little bit there before. Do you have any advice, Richard, on how small businesses can start effectively using hashtags if they've never done it before? Like, where do they start?
Okay, great question. In the beginning, whenever you're tweeting, just putting many hashtags before words, as we've said, not going to work. However, if your organisation happens to have a theme that you would like people to start to use, and you use a common hashtag across, we'll start with Twitter, but obviously you can take that across to your Facebook and to your Instagram. Using a single hashtag, yes, people will misuse it from occasion. The bigger the organisation, the more that hashtag might be associated with nasty stuff that people try to, jump on your successful hashtag. Put that to one side. People can scan through all that nonsense, if people misuse your hashtag. If it's got your sort of initials of your business, or if you've got a short named business at the beginning, that really will help to start to build a identity behind it. And, every time you have a live event, if you have a trade show, if you're doing anything, try to use the hashtag in your share, because people can then get on board. They take a photo at your event. You put a sign up saying, if you're sharing, whack our hashtag in, please. And then the content that you're sharing, everybody can start to find easily. So focus on one clever hashtag if need be, and if it's appropriate, pop it in your tweets.
Sounds good. Good advice. Next question. Should I advertise, this is from Peter, should I advertise with an account that has a lot of followers, i.e. the Westpac, the 39,000 we were looking at before, because it has many followers, that I could get a Twitter to do a tweet, I suppose, to do a lot of their followers showing what I do. Is that correct?
We don't get to specifically work out who we advertise with. What you're going for, to gold, if you will, is if you share a piece of content that mentions another user's account, and that user happens to have tens of thousands of users, if not hundreds of thousands, the biggest thing they can do for you to help you is reshare your tweet, because when they reshare it, it becomes part of their content. And it lands on their page, much like we retweeted Westpac's and it landed on Brand Manager page. If we're another...
There's credibility, I suppose, aspect to it, isn't it?
There's credibility, but eyeballs.
Yeah.
Because, if you've got 20, 30, 100 users, following your account, and they've got tens of thousands, there's a better chance that someone will discover your interesting Twitter account if you can become part of someone else's content. And you become part of their content when they retweet your tweet into their feed. So you're aiming to create content that's compelling. So if you happen to notice a bank or an organization that happens to get an award, you could simply say, congratulations at, fill in the blank on, your award. Or if it's an Australian of the Year, congratulate them if they've got an account. If you've got a good account behind you, there's a chance they might like your content, they may ignore your content, they may follow your account. You just don't know. It's not totally random though, because you have a plan. Your plan is to engage with other real people and organizations.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, but that's what you're aiming for.
So say, for example, in Peter's question though, say Westpac liked something that he tweeted about and they followed him.
Yes.
Then stuff he tweeted about would potentially show up on their feed. Is that how it works?
They can see it in their feed, but we won't see it in their feed unless they take action on it. Active following it means they'll see it possibly,
and then they might retweet it,
and they might take action on it.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, another question from Sunil at AdsCare is, how do you measure the commercial success of Twitter in terms of market penetration? Okay, an interesting one. Value for money. How do we know it's working?
Okay, if you look just at the data for a single tweet, it could be disappointing. If you tweet something and nobody notices or engages with it, and if it's at that level of micro checking the result, it's probably going to disappoint some days. But what you're trying to do is use Twitter amongst other means of communicating, marketing, and so forth. In terms of measurement, when a single act of following an account might get a direct message back that you then ask the person, if there's a common thread, could you get in touch with them? And they go, yes, here's my number, here's my email. That's a measure that's off the charts, because ultimately using Twitter is a means to an end, like all social communication networks. The result is you want someone who didn't know about your business or may have vaguely known about your business to start to get to know you or get to know your business. The real measure is when you convert those tiny little threads, the little breadcrumbs from Twitter into a real life engagement, a real life client. And I like to use the term, I eat my own cooking. I literally use Twitter and, obviously Facebook and Instagram and so forth. And I share other people's content, which gives them an opportunity to engage with me. And by doing that, it gives me an opportunity to talk to them about what I do. If they would like to then continue the discussion, it might be a real life meeting or a client engagement. That's how I use it, and I measure it on that basis.
Well, that's great, and that's a great way to kind of finish with, because we've got a couple of great offers just to close up, just as we get towards the hour. So, Richard, maybe you can talk us through this, which is our first one, because anybody that really has been engaged with Twitter wants to make Twitter their kind of social media platform of choice for 2016. Yes. There's a half-day workshop intensive that we're holding throughout Sydney, but we're also offering the option for people to log in. So if they're outside of Sydney, we can do it sort of, because we're in technology now, we can do it that way. We're running them in February and March, maximum of 10 participants, because I think it's important. What are some of just a couple of key points that you're going to cover when you've got 10 people in the room with you for half a day? What are you going to come out with?
What they'll come out with is, this is like a tiny little taste of ice cream, what we've been able to fit into 45 minutes, 50 minutes. If you want a scoop, if you want to, you end up getting, that's what this is. We gave you a taste of ice cream, as it were. The Twitter 3-hour seminar would be, basically, you come away with a true appreciation. You've set up your account. We could even, come away with, helping answer specific questions about your particular industry, your trade, suggesting, which Twitter accounts to follow, helping to set those up. And with a small group, we could literally focus on particular interesting things for that person and live examples of how to do it so that everyone can see, how do we end up finding all these Twitter handles in a sea of noise? Yep. And that's what we'd come away. In 3 hours, you'd come away feeling quite a champion on it.
Yeah,
and you have direction. Whatever we've said, 4.
Okay, so that sounds great. So there's your details on screen there. info@thebrandmanager.com.au. Just send your details through that you'd be interested in there, and then we'll coordinate with Richard on how we put that together. So info@thebrandmanager.com.au. And our second offer, we said 2 great offers. There's 2's better than 1. You saw me briefly show you about HubSpot, the basic platform for HubSpot. Special offer for those on the call today. 10% discount this week. If you're interested in trialing it out, we're happy to do a trial for you for free. But if you're interested in getting involved and managing what you do on social media, again, send through your details, get started right through to the info@thebrandmanager.com.au. But in terms of time, Richard, I think that's our time out. If you'd like to connect with us, as we would hope you will, at Tony Eads is my Twitter handle. Richard Wolf, remember the _AU, because there's a few wolves around the place. So you've got to make sure you get the AU, or as Richard said, you'll be connecting with the wrong people. At Brand Manager. And just to stay in tune with what's innovative in marketing, fresh in social, or new in technology, we believe it's worth blabbing about. So theblab.com is our blog. But thank you all for attending. We have recorded this, so we'll be sending you out the link. So if we've gone through things a bit too fast, you'll be able to recap on those. We'll also keep you informed of our next Twitternars coming up, where we'll decide whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn, the world of social media. We'll deep dive a little bit further. But from us, thank you very much. Richard, thanks for joining us this morning.